Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Review a Day, actually happening 2 days in a row, very exciting. So today we are going to talk about this volume. It's called Sayonara, I'm going to have to read it off, sorry. Sayonara Zetsubou-Sensei, The Power of Negative Thinking, Volume 1. In case you're wondering why I am talking about so much manga, I get sent a lot of volumes for review, and Del Rey Manga is particularly generous with their review copies, so here you go. But I'm very glad that I read this, because this is entirely different from anything else I have read in manga so far, and in fact anything I think that we've reviewed so far, because this is a satire. Now, here's the thing about satire, and I think jokes in general. Oftentimes, they're very much based on language and the rhythm of language. For those of you who don't do comedy, I would say it's almost mathematical in the way that you figure out a joke sometimes, that, excuse me, certain syllables in a word will affect how you place it in a sentence. That's how you structure a joke. So when you're translating from one language to another, it's of course very tough to get those rhythms to work out correctly. And that's something that hurts this a little bit, but there is a lot to like about it. I still haven't really gotten into what it is. So this guy over here, this guy over there is a sensei at a high school in a class full of misfits. And it's basically a bunch of short stories where each student has something very specific and weird that is wrong with them, and we explore what happens all through the lens of this particular teacher, who is the most negative a man alive. He can take any particular situation and spin it out so that it seems entirely negative. In fact, throughout the book, he tries to commit suicide several times. Hilarious, right? Not really. You know, satire often is not funny. It's just very pointed, and I think that's what this comes off as. There's a lot of issues explored here. Things like domestic abuse, as I mentioned, suicide, people being trapped in their own homes, things like that. It's very dark and very disturbing at points, but the things that work the best are the physical comedy. There's certain stories in here where you get some really, really hilarious physical bits going on. There's one about stalkers where one of the students turns out to be a stalker and is totally in love with the teacher, is hiding behind telephone poles. You find out that stalker has a stalker, and the stalker behind that stalker has a stalker, until there's a chain of about 50 stalkers all behind each other. And it's laid out, and it's very funny in a way. There's a number of really great jokes like that. I'm just going to show you a random page, as I often do. Sorry that it doesn't really give you an example. But there's also very clean lines, which is nice for comedy. There's not a lot of these speed lines that people don't like that are going on in manga. So you get a real sense of the action and who the characters are. I really recommend this for something different, something that is based on language rather than action in manga. You know, and isn't overwordy like, say, Death Note, which, by the way, I really like a lot. I'm very curious to read what the second volume is like, because I think this first volume works really well. As I said, the one downfall is things that probably worked extremely well based on, say, puns or other rhythms of the language that probably existed in the native language are a little lost in translation here. But it's definitely worth picking up for something that is entirely different from what you would normally read from a manga volume. So that's it. Once again, recommending pick this up. This is Review a Day. I will see you guys tomorrow.